Today, I am joined by Rudy Rasmus, the pastor of St. John's Church in Houston, prolific author, and minister of the streets. Rudy, good afternoon. It's so good for you to be with us today.
It's good to be with you too. I'm glad I'm here.
Now, you and your wife, Juanita, pastor St. John's Church in Houston. It's one of the largest and most diverse congregations in the Texas Annual Conference. It's also a place where I've heard you can find a federal judge worshiping with a homeless person when we were worshiping in person.
Right.
How have you managed to cross the barriers of race, class, gender, sexuality that tend to separate people?
You know, there's a passage in James that talks about not creating special seating. And when I think about church, the one thing that sort of always irritated me was the fact that there were people up in the front who had a sort of the best seats in the house, and everyone else didn't. So the first thing we did at St. John's in 1992, that was September 1992, was to take all of the furniture out of the pulpit. Thus creating a sort of a level playing field or a level seating arrangement for everybody participating. And then we did the unspeakable, and we didn't literally give priority seating to our best givers. That kind of set a standard of, you know, come on in here, get in where you fit in, and make the best of it.
And that certainly is the feel of the church at St. John's. Now, Rudy, I cannot resist asking a question about Beyonce, who's also a member of your church. How did your partnership with her family begin and evolve? And what has been the impact on the communities you serve?
Well, first of all, I've known her since she was a baby. Her parents were and are dear friends of mine. So when Juanita and I started St. John's under the leadership of Kirby John Caldwell back in '92, they were in our first probably 20 people to really come alongside and be a part of this new ministry. So I actually knew them before my Christian days. I knew them when I was still, you know, very much out there. And so early on, you know, when Juanita and I first married, Tina was her hairdresser. So they had these little girls, and then they had the friends of the little girls who all attended church with us. And then they formed this singing group, Girls Time, quickly evolved into Destiny's Child. And I remember early on, the early Destiny's Child days, they would participate in talent shows, and we would literally stop church and pray for their success. And the community around us has really benefited from our friendship over these years. Right now, we are we're doing some really intensive work around the COVID-19 pandemic, and her foundation, the Be Good Foundation, and Jack Dorsey, the guy who founded Twitter, have come together and have been one of our primary funding sources during the pandemic. So we are serving, this past week, we served about 3,000 families food and necessities.
Now, there's some housing developments that you've done with Beyonce, I understand, in the area. Tell me about that.
As a matter of fact, we started developing housing, permanent supportive housing for previously homeless people in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. When Katrina destroyed New Orleans, Tina came to me and said, you know, Rudy, I want to buy an apartment building. I said, why buy one when we can build one? And that was the early genesis of this development that now is 3 projects that are complete. We house 140 previously homeless adults on our campus, and we are preparing right now to build 2 more that are going to average about 32 million each. But their early investment in our housing development really enabled us to launch into an area where now we have about 40 million in housing currently. We'll have 100 million on the ground by the end of 2021.
I visited your church once, Rudy, and what I remember were shopping carts kind of parked in the area that some of us would call the narthex, but I believe that you all called it the parking lot. Tell me about that.
Over these years, we have, we've been in close proximity to the homeless community. They're our members, our neighbors, and our early church story is really pretty funny. But we got to the church in that first week. There was a cat sleeping, cat that's 20th century for a guy. There was a cat sleeping on in front of the door, and instead of shooing the dude away, I invited him in and invited the rest of the homeless community that was sleeping around the church at the time, and before we knew it, we were home to a whole bunch of folk who lived outdoors. Now today we have expanded our mission to the spiritually homeless as well. So we have the physically homeless and the spiritually homeless, and really we have learned how to transcend borders and barriers and titles and all of the stuff that typically keeps people from dealing with organized religion.